Hello and welcome to round 14 of the 2009 GP4 Offline Championship. We are here for the Italian Grand Prix at the famous Monza circuit. And after the Belgian Grand Prix, where we had a very surprise winner with Sam Thompson winning the race from Will Kneller with Roland Moichin, his teammate, in third place. What will happen here? So obviously the race was given a 7 out, or 7.11 out of 10. The driver of the day was, no surprise, Sam Thompson. Some team news for this week is that Ferrari have decided to keep both Will Kneller and Waze Kuba for 2010, a big announcement in front of their home fans, and with rumours circulating that Williams want to sign Jay McKenzie for next season, with Sauber, obviously with neither seats confirmed yet. Sauber, who will turn from BMW Sauber into just Sauber for next season. We are here for the Italian Grand Prix, where we had a shock winner last season, where Nicolas Gao showed us his talent by winning the race in the Toro Rosso after a surprise dry to wet qualifying session. So it'll be interesting to see what will happen here for the Grand Prix. Now, in this, and also interesting thing to point out for this race is that Brawn could win the Constructors' Championship if they outscore Red Bull by 15 points. But we don't obviously know if that's going to happen yet. We will wait and see. So anyway, as you can see, even though this is the slightly older layout picture on the screen, it is actually the current Italian Grand Prix layout. But anyway, here is the grid. So Joseph Williams takes a surprise pole position for McLaren, with Sam Thompson continuing his impressive form in second, Nicolas Gal, key position for him in third, Roland Moichin in fourth, Waze Cooper in fifth, James Williams in sixth. And then going further down the order, in seventh place is Alex Southgate, who needs to finish higher up than Nicolas Gal to keep his hopes of the championship alive. Volker also, who needs to finish at least ahead of Gal to keep his hopes of the championship alive, which will basically be over if he doesn't outscore or do better than Gal this race. Page Knight is in ninth, followed by Felix Sontag in 10th. Jack Bowman is 11th. Jack Boyman and Page Knight also in their last seasons for Toyota. Will Kneller is in 12th. Victor Ibobo, or Ibobonaldo, in 13th. Viggo Holst, a better qualifying from him this time in 14th place. Jay McKenzie is 15th, followed by Adam Wolf. Disappointing qualifying for McKenzie and for his teammate Roke as well, as there is Adam Wolf in 16th. 17th place is Armar Carr with 18th, George Roke, showing that BMW's pace has certainly dropped off and is a lot worse than it was last season. 19th place is Finley Strachan. 20th place is Evan Byrne for Williams, and of course, at the back of the grid is the two Lotus cars of Michael Mocho and Jordan Maturin. Maturin, who will want to perform well today to see if he can get a driver next year, with Mocho and Garcia being confirmed. So Maturin will have to look for a drive elsewhere. But anyway, as you can see, the weather here for the race, it will be dry and sunny. So like the Grand Prix last year, we haven't actually had any rain for the last couple of races or so. So this will be very interesting to see what happens as we are about to go onto the grid. So here we are. Joseph Williams is on pole, Thompson second, Gallus third, with Moichin fourth. Who will get the best start? It's a long drive up into turn 1, into the first Lesmo chicane, I believe it is. But anyway, the lights are coming on. We're now on 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. It's a long hold. And the lights are out, and away we go. And Joseph Williams has got a great start, and so has Nicolas Gal. Has he? No, he hasn't actually. I thought he'd got ahead of Thompson, but he hasn't. As we come into turn 1, Williams has got a comfortable lead. Thompson's in second. Moichin's trying to overtake him for third. As he's coming to the chicane, and there's been a crash at the back. There's debris flying everywhere. There's been a lot of cars involved. Who's been involved in that one? I believe there's a Williams. Roke's been involved. I believe Mackenzie's been involved. There's a Renault involved. I think that is Holst. Burns involved. There's been a major crash at the back. So what happened here? So Roke once again involved, like the race at the Belgian Grand Prix. So here we are on board with Roke. He was behind the Renault of Viggo Holst. And he gets hit from behind, which causes the chain reaction in front of him. And he was hit by Evan Byrne, who just went into the back of him and then forced the chain reaction, with Holst going into the cars in front of him. And oh my goodness me, a big pile-up at the start of the Grand Prix. This was to be expected, to be honest, at this track. As you can see, Mackenzie just doesn't seem to brake and just hits the back of Roke there. And actually the Lotus there hits the back of Strachan, coming through the chicane. So there's been a lot of cars damaged. Mackenzie's got no front wing or rear wing. The Renault of Strachan's involved. There's lots of cars involved. As here's Thompson trying to make a move on Williams. There's contact, and then both Force Indias have spun. Oh, and Williams has got away with it. He's still leading, but both Force Indias have spun. Thompson was trying to get but overtake Joseph Williams. He made contact with the back of him, and then Moitin made contact with him as well. And they have both spun out, and they have surely just cost themselves a chance of the victory here today, Force India. Oh my goodness me, VJ Malian must be absolutely furious. So here we're on board. There is Moitin. So Williams was trying to defend from Thompson. Thompson tried to make it from the inside. Williams blocked, and then Thompson came back in front of Moitin, who hit the back of him, and then spun around. That is a spectacular crash. And well, fortunately, the two drivers are still in. As that was very, very close for James Williams. He almost hits. I believe that is Moitin's car. Look how close that was. He gets away with it, and he is now second place. Gall is still in third. Volker's up to fourth. Sontag has made a great start. He's up into fifth place. So what a start by Felix Sontag as they're coming out of the first of the chicanes. As now Thompson gets himself going. As there is obviously there is Byrne, there is Roke. So Moitin gets himself going. Thompson finally gets himself going, but he has lost a lot of time, and that, as I said, has cost Force India very dearly, and surely cost them the chance of win. As there was I believe that's Florian Volker going past Mikolos Gal, important for the championship. As Volker is got into third place, there's cars coming through the third of the number of chicanes on this track. As there's a battle for the Toyotas and the Force this battle going everywhere. Southgate's getting on the inside of Waze Kuba there, who's right behind Sontag, and that is Jack Boyman, I believe, trying to get past Will Neller. As there is a there's a Toro Rosso and a Williams is actually going on everywhere. It's side by side between Southgate and Sontag coming down into the first chicane. As there is Neller is involved as well. There's there's going to be more contact surely coming into the chicane. Is there going to be? No, there isn't. They managed to just about get around there safely. I don't know how they managed to do that. But, wow, that was some action there. Cars moving up to second place. There's Boyman. Oh, my goodness, there's a lot of action. We've only done 2 laps, so what's the rest of the race going to hold up? So, here's Page and I, as we're on board with trying to get past, I believe this is Sontag coming into the chicane. And, yes, he does. He makes the move stick. And that is 7th place for Page and I. Sontag down to 8th, so he was in 5th, but now he's beginning to drop down the order. As now Neller's going on the inside of him, coming into the first of the double right-handers, but he can't make the move stick. As there is a Williams of Adam Wolf right behind, and the 2 Toro Rossos of Carr and Bobo. As we're now going to come on to the back straight, as there is Knight trying to get past Southgate as well. He's trying to go around the outside, but surely Neller's going to make the move stick, coming into the third chicane. I can't remember the name of it. He comes on, he's going to make the move stick. Yes, he does. Sontag goes a bit wide, manages to hold it as Neller makes the move stick to Knight, but now Bobo is now up to 10th, right behind Sontag. Those two will not want to see each other, as now Wolf is right behind as well. Now Knight is still attacking Alex Southgate. It's now Bobo is trying to go past Sontag, coming into the Parabolica. And does he make the move stick? Yes, he does. As there is Carr getting past Wolf behind him, and that is Boyman as well behind us. Now Carr is trying to get past Sontag coming onto the straight. There's a lot of action as there is still side by side between Southgate and Knight, and Sontag is now trying to get back past Bobo coming down the front straight. As there's Roke who just come out of the pits. He's come out in a really awkward position here, and they both go down the inside of Roke, and there's a contact, and Bobo and Sontag around. Somehow no damage. Sontag has managed to get away with it and managed to rejoin, but Bobo has spun. Another collision for Bobo once again, living up to his name, as Sontag has managed to rejoin in 13th, but Bobo is spun. And oh my goodness, and now Sontag is under attack from Strachan and Mocho in the Lotus, and he might get overtaken here if he's not careful. But no, he doesn't. He just about manages to hold it. So we go back to see what happens. So coming to the back straight, there was Roke who'd come out the pit, so he's already lapped down Roke. You can see Roke, he's just coming out there, and he comes out right in front of Ibobo, and not a great place to come out. And then there was almost contact already between Ibobo and Sontag, who were trying to get past him, and unfortunately there was just no room there. Probably a racing incident, and Sontag spins, and so does Ibobo, but Sontag gets himself going very, very quickly. This is a very, very dramatic 3 laps we've had so far of this Grand Prix. On board was Roke. You can see those 2 go past, and there is the contact, and nearly takes him out. So there goes Carr around him. So wow, that was quite an incident there. But somehow we have not yet had any cars retire from this race, as there was Carr right behind trying to make the move past Sontag and Ibobo as well, but he couldn't quite make it move. As I said, I'm lucky that there was no damage as Ibobo's car nearly flips around the first chicane as Sontag gets himself going. And as I said, whew, I need to catch my breath after that. That was the most insane 3 laps of this season so far, I think. Wow. So Sontag is in 12th, so he didn't get overtaken by Mocho, as he now goes past tries to go past the Williams of Adam Wolf. And does he make the move stick? Yes, he does. Go a bit wide there, nearly collision, but they get away with it. And Sontar comes through onto the back straight, but Sontar goes wide again, and now Wolf is going to make the move stick, and probably Mucho as well. And there's Carr, who's spun, Armar Carr, who's running up in ninth place. He's made a great start, and unfortunately, he has just ruined that by... He was trying to get past, I believe this is Alex Southgate, so Southgate's obviously got a high fuel load. That's probably why he's struggling. So Carr tried to make a move on the inside. He decided not to make it. He just lost control of the car coming into the Parabolica, and he just spins off. Lucky he doesn't go into the wall. Fortunately, the gravel slows him down enough to stop him. So you can see he just loses the car. So very unfortunate there for Carl, who is obviously going to be racing for Toro Rosso next year. Carl was running very well. He made a great start. He was up nearly 10 places. So it's Page and Knight now sets the fastest lap of the race. As now Carl's going to have to wait for all these drivers to go past. I was about to say cars, but that would be quite a bit confusing there. But anyway, so Carl finally manages to get his vehicle. It's Carlo. It just sounds really weird. Anyway, Carl gets himself going, and now Will Neller is right behind his teammate Wade Cooper for 6th place. As we're now on lap 6, and Neller's going to make a move before. Is he going to make the move stick before the Parabolica? As there is, I believe, that is Page Knight going past Alex Southgate in the Brawn as they're coming into the Parabolica. So Neller completes the move past Cooper for 6th place. Has Knight completed the move past Southgate? Is the big question, and yes, she has done it. As now there's a battle between, that is Jack Boyman and James Willows coming down into the first chicane. Is Willows going to make the move stick on Boyman? The answer is side by side, but Boyman has got the line as Willows goes very wide coming out the chicane, and he's lost a lot of momentum. He's now brought Nella and Kuba with him. So Nella and Kuba could be trying to make themselves a move here as he comes round through the long right hand. Here on board with Sontar coming into the Parabolica, and he'd always gone a bit wide. He's gone onto the grass as he managed to control it. He's let the Force India go past there, but he only loses 1 place. Go away with that, Sontar, because that is always a dangerous place to go off. So now Knight is trying to overtake Miklos Gal for 3rd place. Knight is on a charge here, and Knight is side by side with Gal coming down the front straight into the first chicane. Is she going to make the move stick for the first chicane? The answer is yes, she does. And he makes the move stick very well. Whether to Knight already up to 3rd, so obviously Knight's on must be on a low fuel load. Is this Knight trying to get past Willows for the lead, or is this Boyman? I believe this is this is Boyman, I think, is it? Actually, no, it's not. So Volker has actually got past Willows, and now so has Knight. So obviously we have not seen that, but good. But now Knight actually overtakes and now goes straight into the pits. So it looks like a 3-stop strategy for Knight. So unseen by the cameras, Volker has got past Joseph Willows for the lead. It looks like Willows had streaked away, but obviously he hasn't. So Volker has taken the lead here. So this will be interesting if the teams will do a 3 or a 2-stop, maybe even a 1-stop. We don't know yet. This depends what the teams decide to do with the fuel-wise. But anyway, Knight comes into the pits. Let's see how quick her stop will be. It is... This is a long stop. It is a 12.1 second stop, so I think she'll be doing a 3-stop, I believe, as she comes out of the pits. Strachan going past, as there is Knight, who is going past as well. And so Knight will be coming out, I think, just behind Moitin and Carr, and yes, she does. Is now here on board with Victor Bobo, who is right behind, I believe this is Finlay Strachan, as he's going to overtake him coming into the Parabolica. And he does make the move stick, as there is Sonto right in front. Sonto goes wide again. He's gone onto the grass again. Sonto makes the same mistake once again. And oh my goodness. The Toro Rosso there somehow doesn't hit Sontar coming onto the track. That was, I think it was, oh my goodness me. Ebobo, how has he missed that? We've got to see that again in slow motion. So you can see Son comes back, he loses the car, and somehow no contact. Once again, that is an incredibly close shave, and somehow we've still not yet had any retirements for this Grand Prix. And now Jack Boyman comes through the Parabolica, he's gone wide, and just as I say that, Boyman goes off, and he crashes into the wall, and Jack Boyman is out of the race for, I believe, the 5th race in a row. And that is, I believe, the record. I'm not quite sure about that yet, but Boyman is out once again, it was the commentator's curse right there. Boyman was on the straight, he was running really well, and you can see he just comes into the Parabolica. He's never really going to make the corner. He had a lot of understeer, and he just couldn't stop the car, and he goes into the wall. And that is the first retirement of the Grand Prix. Jack Boyman out of the race, and that means that Mocho, actually, as you can see on the graphic there, is already in 9th place. He could get in the points here for the time being. What a start by Michael Mocho, showing why he is set to stay. And there he goes. So Mocho is currently in the points for the time being. This is quite something for Lotus, but we don't know if he'll be able to stay there or not, but that would be quite interesting, as there goes Boyman's car being pushed away. So now we're on board with Will Nella, who's right behind Miklos Gal for third place. Is he going to make the move coming into the Lesmo? And the answer is yes, he does. And Gal makes the move, and Nella, sorry, makes the move stick on Gal for third place, as that was actually a replay, so that has actually already happened. As you can see, Nella's just in front. As here is a view, I believe, is that Sontag or is that Joseph Willis? No, it's Nella. So Nella is going to make a move on Joseph Willis into the Parabolica, and does he make the move stick? Yes, he does. A good move there by Nella. So Nella is on a mission right here. So there's another yellow flag coming down the front straight as Nella goes into the pits for his first stop of the day. So I imagine this will be for a two-stop, and that is Michael Mocho. Michael Mocho, who's running really well. He'd, I think, obviously dropped down the order, but unfortunately the car has let him down once again. As you can see, it's the suspension failure which has caused Michael Mocho to retire, but he'll always remember running in the point for the Lotus in 8th place for the time being. But Michael Mocho is unfortunately now out of the race, as there go the Taurus and the BMW there. As there's just Willows. So anyway, here is Will Nella coming into the pits for his first stop of the day. So Nella will come in for his first stop. I believe this probably will be for a two-stop strategy, because obviously I think Knight, unless she can go really long on the tyres, will have to make a three-stop, although I'm not sure if that will be the right strategy for this race, but we don't know. But anyway, Nella comes out of the pits. It's a 14-second stop exactly, so a bit of a long stop there by the Ferrari pit crew. Sam Thompson, the winner of last week's Belgian Grand Prix, is in. He's so wished for better. He was attacking Willows, probably not the right move, as Willows blocked Thompson coming into the second chicane, and that has cost him the race dearly. So I don't know what words are going to be spoken between Thompson and Moitian at the end of the race. But Thompson comes in. He's recovered quite a few positions, so it shows that he does have good pace around here. So Thompson comes out the pits, a 13.9 second stop, so a tenth quicker than the Ferrari pit crew. Thompson comes out. Will he come out ahead of Maturin is the answer, and no, he doesn't, so he's going to have to get past the Lotus. As now Joseph Willows comes into the pit. So Willows, who took a really, really good pole in qualifying, he stunned the field with his lap time, which is I think 3/10 quicker than Thompson, as he comes in. But unfortunately, the pace of the race has not quite showed that, as he's dropped to third. He dropped behind Knight, and then he dropped behind Volker, but obviously it'll be interesting to see if Knight's strategy will work. But a quick stop there by the McLaren crew is a 10.7 second stop, as Willows will come out of the pits. So Willows will come out behind, will he come out actually ahead of these guys? So he'll come out, I think, behind Knight and Sontag. So Knight has at the moment got back ahead of Joseph Willows, as now Willows comes back out of the pits in front of the Ferrari there, I think that was Will Nella, as now James Willows comes into the pits for Red Bull, and the Ferrari mechanics are getting ready, I think, for Wade Kuba behind. So Willows comes into the pits. So how quick will this stop be? And Wade Kuba is in, like I said. He's just come in behind, you can see in the mirror of Willows' car. So James Willows, who's has had a decent season, but it could have been better. He just hasn't had quite the luck as Volker had, although Volker has obviously had some bad luck, such as the Turkish Grand Prix with his engine blowing with 3 laps left. So Willows will come out of the pits. Where will he come out? He'll come out behind, I believe, his brother Joseph. He'll come up behind Moitin there. As now Kuba comes out, 15.7 second stop there for the Ferrari crew. So Kuba will come out in 10th place. So he'll come out ahead of Sam Thompson. As Thompson just coming across the finishing line there, as he comes into the first chicane. There's a load of spin, and that's Maturin's off, and Carl was off in front of him, and Maturin has lost his rear wing, so he's going to have to pit to change that. So what happened there? So Carl was overtaking Maturin coming into the Parabolica, and so what happened? So Maturin got overtaken, and he just went a bit wide, and so did Carr actually as well. Carr managed to avoid the wall. As quite a spin there from Maturin. He was lucky he only lost his rear wing, so he'll be able to change that as you can in this game. But Carr, as you can see, he overtakes him, but then he goes onto the curb a little bit, and that just unsettles the car, and he goes wide, as there's Maturin going wide and spinning behind him, and he'll have to pit for a new rear wing. An unfortunate mistake there from Maturin. Lucky, as I said, not to lose any of his wheels or anything like that. But fortunately for him, also the pits is just right in front of him, so he can go straight in there and get that fixed. So quite a moment there for Maturin, but he is at least still in the race. So there's one Lotus still in the race, as now Miklos Gal who is now the leader, comes into the pits. So it looks like he will be going for a one stop. As far as I know, I don't believe he has made a stop yet. So this will be his only stop of the day. As we're now going to be on lap 30. So we are now past the halfway mark. So Gal can go to the end here. So it'll be interesting to see if this strategy works. So he will come in. So how long will this stop be for the Bronco? It will be a 14.9 second stop. So they're obviously going to fuel him to the end, and these tyres will go on to the end. So where will he come out, interestingly, and what will happen at the front by the end of the race? So now his teammate Alex Southgate comes into the pits for Brawn. It's not been a brilliant season for Southgate. He's had some good moments, such as winning in Malaysia, and winning in Malaysia by over a minute. But as I said, he's just not had as much luck as Mikael Scow had, or at least not finished in the points as much. Because I think the Belgian Grand Prix last week was probably his worst race of the season, as he had a couple of instances. He had a couple of instances with like Roke, and he tried a one stop which just clearly was not working on very, very badly worn tyres. So it never really went right, as there was Page Knight just coming out in pits as well. As there goes Thompson past into 8th place. So Southgate comes out ahead of Sontag there behind him, as now Knight makes a move on Thompson coming into the second chicane. Is he going to make the stick? Thompson goes wide over the curbs, but manages to avoid any contact, and Knight makes the move for 8th place with that. So no problems there. As we go on board, we can see Knight had the slipstream coming into the chicane, and he made the move. It was quite a late move by Knight, to be honest, but she left Thompson plenty of room there, and Thompson went over the bouncy curbs, and so he had to give the place away. As now that is Southgate, who is right behind, who will now look to get past him onto the back straight. This comes through the double right-handers, and Southgate comes through the second right-hander, and he'll surely get Thompson on the straight, as he'll have fresher tyres, as he's got the slipstream. He's going into 7th gear, going at well over 300, and well, probably around 330, but Thompson defends really well coming into the chicane here. So that was great defending from Thompson there. She doesn't want to let Southgate get through, but Southgate's going to have more slipstream as they're now coming into the Parabolica. But is Thompson going to defend this time? The answer is no, he doesn't, and Southgate's going to make the move stick coming through the Parabolica, and Southgate makes the move for 9th place. But Thompson could actually make the move back here because he's got slipstream, because Southgate's not going to manage to get away. So Thompson's going to get right back at Southgate. Look at the speed he's got. He had through the Parabolica despite being overtaken, because he had the slipstream, and now he's going to make the move in front. But now Southgate switched to the inside. Is he going to make the move stick into the chicane? And the answer is no, he's not. And now that's going to bring Sontag into it right behind. So this is a great battle here for 9th place between these two drivers, as Southgate's kind of come through, but he's now got Sontag right behind him. He needs to think whether he has to defend or tries to make a move on Thompson, but Southgate's going to make a move regardless on Thompson coming into the chicane. And does he make the move stick this time? Yes, he does. And now Sontag tries to make the move on Thompson as well. And has he done it? Yes, he has. So Sontag makes the move stick. So Thompson, unfortunately, has been a bit mugged there, or he's going to feel at least a little bit mugged. And he's going to be behind Sontag, but is he going to try and get him back onto the straight? He's certainly not a. He's certainly a fighter, I should say there, Thompson, as he's going to try and overtake Sontag coming onto the front straight, to the back straight, sorry. And Thompson's going to make the move as he goes through the Martini signs. And is he going to take 10th place back? And yes, he does. So great battle here between these three. Great fight there, spirit, I should say, for Sam Thompson. So as Thompson still stays in 10th place, or drops 1 place, he manages to keep one of the places that Southgate had obviously overtaken him, and keeps it from Sontag behind. So will Sontag try and make a move onto the back straight? I think he's dropped a little bit behind, but will he try and get him back? I'm not sure. But anyway, we're on board with Sontag, who's going to try and make a move again onto the straight. As before the Parabolica, is he going to make the move stick before the Parabolica? But is he going to have enough? Is he going to be able to get away from Thompson coming onto the back straight? But Thompson, I think, goes a bit wide, and he's lost a bit of momentum. So I think Sontag now finally has the move complete as they come onto the front straight, as we're now already on lap 33. So Volker still leads, with Joseph Willis still in 2nd place, as now Knight comes through. He's trying to overtake Waze Kuba for 7th place, and she completes the move. Good move there from Page Knight, as now Sontag has caught up with Alex Southgate now for 9th place, and he's going to take it off him, and he cuts right in front of Southgate there. That was a bit of a risky move, as now it's nearly contact there between the two. That was quite risky from Sontag. Cuts right in front of Southgate. Probably didn't realise how close he was, or if he'd completed the way, he probably didn't know that he was that close behind him. But now Southgate's going to try and get Knight place back coming into the first chicane, as Thompson has dropped off there. But if any of these two make a mistake, he could be on it. But Southgate has now has kept the place, I should say, from Sontag. As now Joseph Willows, for his 2nd stop of the day, comes into the pits. So Willows, who was running in second place, and he will come out in, well, probably in 6th place, I reckon, unless there is a big gap in 5th, but 11.3. But this will be Willows' last stop of the race, and he will come out. Will he stay in P5 is the big question. Nope, he'll drop to P6, like I kind of called it, where he would come out. But anyway, so Waze Kuba is here in 7th, but here is Felix Sontag, who's right behind, coming onto the back straight. Sontag is going to try and make a move on Waze Kuba coming into the first chicane. He's got the slipstream. Is he going to make the mistake? There's Tom trying to get past Southgate in the background. Sontag has completed the move. Will Thompson complete the move on Southgate for 9th place? And the answer is yes, he does. Great fighting and great, well, as I said, spirit from Sam Thompson there as he makes the move 6. Now, Sontag is on a mission. He's now overtaking his teammate, Joseph Willows. Willows will not be happy about this because Willows, I don't know if he'll still be able to get the win, but he'll still want to at least fight for a podium. So I don't know if Willows will be particularly happy with this, as his brother James is now in the pits as well, which you can see on the graphic there. As Page Knight is in the pits as well. Is Willows going to try and make a move back on Sontag coming into the chicane? He's got the slipstream. Is he going to make the move? Sontag defends, moves out in front, and then moves back in. But Willows will probably make a move coming round the long right-hander before the second chicane. And Willows is not going to be particularly happy about this, but I believe Sontag has actually made the mistake and got away. So Amar Kar is now in the pits. But here is the leader. Florian Volker is in the pits for his final stop of the race. So I believe he'll come out in the lead, but we don't know actually what is going on with Mikolos Gal, where he will be in the order. But now Will Neller is going to come out as well. Is going to come into the pits as well, I should say. And he comes out. It's a very quick stop there. So obviously, just a quick stop for tyres. Probably no fuel. The enders. Oh, that is the Toro Rosso there. I think that was Carr had to wait for Nella to go out there. That was quite a risky move there from the crew. But Nella has got out in 3rd. So Carr's behind us. There's Joseph Willows overtaking one of the lap cars. So Nella has actually got out ahead of Joseph Willows. So that is probably the fight with Sontag has cost him time. So Nella has actually jumped Joseph Willows in the stops here. So that looks like set to be, I think, is it 3rd place or 2nd place secure? I think it might be 3rd place because we don't actually know who is leading right now. Has Volker managed to get out ahead of Gal, or is Gal in front? We don't actually know right now. As now Wolf is just coming out of the pits, and here is a final lap, and that is the answer to your question. Gal did manage to get out ahead of Volker, as Volker set the fastest lap, so Volker obviously has fresher tyres because he's made a 2-stop, but Gal will just need to cruise to the end, but I don't think Volker is going to be able to close up in time. So Mikolos Gal, this will be vital for the championship. He needs this win. Obviously, he can't win the title here, but he can win the title in the next race in Singapore. As he comes round the second chicane, it's been a great race for Gal. He executed the one-stop strategy to perfection. He qualified 3rd. He showed that Brawn hasn't lost all of its pace that it had earlier in the season, where they were winning nearly every race. As Gal's now coming onto the back straight, and Volker, he thought he probably had this win in the bag, but I bet he didn't expect Gal to do the one-stop strategy. So Gal has won this race on his strategies. He's coming through. Volker is closing, but I don't think it's going to be enough. He needs at least another lap. As you can see, the gap is closing. It's now down to 2.3, so he's gained 4/10 in that sector. But it's not going to be enough unless Gal makes a mistake coming into the Parabolica. So Mikolos Gal is set to take a vital win for the championship race, as he'll pretty much knock out Volker in the title fight. So it'll be down to just him and his teammate Southgate, who has not had a good race today. As Mikolos Gal comes round the final corner, he comes around Parabolica, and Mikolos Gal is going to win the Italian Grand Prix and take a big step towards winning the 2009 GP4 Offline Championship, as Volker behind sets the fastest lap of the race, but all for nothing. He comes home in 2nd, and that pretty much eliminates him from the title fight. Jay McKenzie comes home in 15th. He was involved in the collision at the start. Holst is going to come home in 16th, and Will Neller's going to come home in 3rd place for Ferrari. A good result for the British driver, as Amar Kar is set to come home in 17th, and Joseph Willis is going to come home in a very disappointing 4th place. He would have hoped for maybe a little bit more, at least a podium in this race, but he'll still get a top 4, so that's still good for McLaren nonetheless, as James Willis is going to come home in 5th place for Red Bull. So as Willis comes across the line in 5th place, a good race by Willows. Never really shone us, you could say, in this race, but anyway, he comes across the line in 5th. Waze Cooper is going to come home in 6th, and Alex Southgate's going to come behind him in 7th. So Southgate obviously still in the title fight, but he needs better results than this, as Knight comes home in 8th, Sontag comes home in 9th, and Finlay Stratton's going to come home in a decent 10th place. Not bad for the Scottish driver. Thompson's going to come in a disappointing 11th. Roke's going to come home all the way in 19th, as Maturin is going to come home in 20th place in last, as we once again have only had 2 cars retire from this race, so the car's reliability is certainly improving. As now Moishan is going to come home in 12th, and there's a battle for 13th. Is Ibobo going to hold on for Wolf? And the answer is, I believe he has. Ibobo has got 13th, Wolf is in 14th, so Wolf manages to hold on there. But well done to the winner of your race, Mikolos Gal. Takes a huge step towards the championship, which he can win in Singapore. And I don't believe that and Braun have not yet won the Constructors' Championship in this race, as they will have to wait until Singapore, as they have obviously not outscored Red Bull by 15 points, with Volker finishing in 2nd place and Williams finishing in 5th. But anyway, here are the full race results. Mikolos Gal wins the race, Florian Volker 2nd, Will Miller 3rd, Joseph Willers 4th, James Willers 5th, Waze Cooper 6th, Alex Luckett 7th, and Page Knight completed the points in 8th, with Sontag in 9th, Strachan in 10th, Sam Thompson 11th, and Moishin 12th. Really, really disappointing for the Force Indias. Ibobo in 13th, Wolf 14th, and then the guys to lap down Mackenzie, Holst, Carr, Byrne, Roke, and Maturin, with the 2 retirements being Mocho with the suspension failure and Boyman crashing at the Parabolica. So Volker set the fastest lap of the race, ahead of Page Knight in 2nd place, with Miller 3rd, Sontag in 4th, Thompson in 5th, James Willers in 6th. So Jez was 7th and Gal in 8th. As you can see, Gal was only 8th, so he's nearly a second off the pace, and yet he still won. So the strategy worked really well for him. Boyman is 9th, Carr 10th, Wolf 11th, Boba 12th, Holst 13th, Striker 14th, Roke 15th, Mackenzie 16th, Turin 17th, and Southgate only 18th. So that was a very, very well. It showed that the amount of pace that he didn't have during this Grand Prix, so that was disappointing. But anyway, so here are the points standings. So Southgate is now 30 points behind Gal in the championship, with Florian Volker in 3rd. Although you could say he's probably. Well, certainly James Willers is out of the title fight, but I would probably have to say the same for Volker. I don't think he could really get back. Anyway, so Gal leads by 30 points ahead of Southgate, who is 9 ahead of Volker, with Willers a 9 behind in 4th, with Neller in 5th, Joes Willers 6th, Mackenzie 7th, Knight 8th, Sontag 9th, and Thompson complete the top 10. Kuba in 11th, Rote 12th, Ember 13th, Safri 14th, Boyman 15th, Moichen 16th, Wolf 17th, Holst 18th, 19th is Strachan, and 20th is Bobo, with Amal Carr, Mocho, Maturin, Ionescu, and Garcia on no points. In the Constructors, Braun obviously still well clear of Red Bull in the Constructors. They could win the Constructors' Championship along with the drivers in Singapore. But anyway, Red Bull are in 2nd place, McLaren are in 3rd, Ferrari 4th on the same points, so there could be a very big battle there. BMW falling away from that in 5th place, Force India in 6th, Toyota 7th, Williams 8th, Renault 9th, Toro Rosso 10th, and Lotus in 11th. Well, that has been the Italian Grand Prix. I hope you enjoyed the race, guys. Don't forget to vote for your driver of the day and give the race a rating at the den. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and we will see you for the next round, round 15, the Singapore Grand Prix at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. Goodbye.